Hi, everybody. Welcome to Drink of Thrones, the show where we discuss everything Thrones.
And of course, we drink while doing it.
I'm Lui,
And I'm Jazmin.
and if you're 21 and over and joining us for our drinking game,
Drink until you feel like Larys when Alicent gets past the sock stage.
yuck.
Or yum if you're into that
Yeah,
type
I
of
guess so. And by the way, today's word of the day is war. Every time you hear the word war, feel free to join us and take a drink. We're going to try to catch each other. We might even try to set each other up. And when we do, we'll press this button and you'll know by hearing Tyrion.
It's not easy being drunk all the time.
But that means war.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start off by opening our ceremonial first shots, right?
First shot in honor of the season finale,
The Black Queen.
the Black Queen.
Here we go.
All right. Cheers.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And just so everyone knows, and for the listeners at home, we are drinking Truly margaritas.
Yes.
If you're going to get Trulies,
get the margarita ones. Don't waste your time. We tried them all, and these are by far the best.
Truly. The mimosa ones are okay too.
They're okay, but
Yeah, but definitely the best. All right.
Here we go.
Let's get started.
oof, that's not a sound effect. That's just reality. Ooh, tasty. All right. So before we get started, actually, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Really important. Here we go. We begin with another awesome shot of Aegon's table,
Dope ass table.
which I'm so jealous of.
Yeah, I'm like, can I
And-
get that at IKEA, Pottery Barn? Where can I get
We
it?
do need a dining room table.
That would be pretty fucking metal if
It
we
would,
get
if we can, I was thinking that when we were watching, I was like, we still need a table.
Etsy. I
Yeah.
feel like it's an Etsy thing.
It would be out of all the places. I think it would be Etsy where you would go to get something like this made.
If you could like press a button and it like lights up like a pinball machine almost,
Mm.
wouldn't that be pretty cool?
Oh,
Right?
yeah. I
Just
think
yeah.
I now want to do that.
I
somehow.
mean, we're adults.
No, but I mean, like we would have to get it
Allegedly.
made or something. Anyways, back to that dope ass table. It's Luke and Rhaenyra and Chase, I think also. And no, actually, just Luke and Rhaenyra are
Yeah,
having
it's
a
just
moment,
It's just Luke and Rhaenyra.
and he's doubting himself about being the Lord of Driftmark, and he's comparing himself to his grandsire Corlys, and how he's not equipped to or even just able to do it because he can't even handle being at sea.
Well, big ass shoes to fill too. Like Corlys is
Yeah.
pretty fucking dope.
I think there comes a time where you as a person even just not obviously we don't go through that as being the lords of anything, but
Yeah.
I think whenever you get a job that might be too challenging, or whenever you're doing some sort of sport or anything that requires you to rise up to an occasion, I think you start doubting yourself.
Well, like the expression "fake it till you make it" is there out there for a reason.
Yeah.
But I get how he feels. Like he's in this dope ass family where Daemon's like this legendary warrior.
Mhm.
His mom's the first queen ever in existence of Westeros.
Yeah.
Like, his grandpa is fucking the owner of the Velaryon fleet. Like, he has some pretty fucking dope ass family members, and
Yeah.
he's kind of just landed.
Like, am I even good? Am I even what's the word I'm looking for?
apt to do this job.
Yeah.
Like,
It's something that is
qualified.
Well, yeah, qualified. But I think it's scary, to
Yeah.
really stop and think about it, and
he's
when you see it,
little.
correct. But that's what he needs to understand, right?
And
And
it-
you don't really understand at that age, I don't think.
No, and it seems like his brother kind of gives him a hard time too. Like he seems like he tries really hard, and he's probably hard on him too. Like thinking back to those lessons where he's taking High Valyrian and he hasn't even been at it that long, and his mom tells him like, "Dude, chill. Like you have a lot of time to learn."
Yeah.
But he probably is. Think about it. He's probably higher up than his brother, so he feels.
Perhaps. Yeah.
So it seems like his brother's kind of more put together than that. But yeah, he's kind of doubting himself, saying he's probably not apt for it. And his mom tells her, "Let me let you in on a secret. I didn't feel qualified either."
Yeah, it's normal, man.
But
It's normal.
yeah, but your grandpa, Viserys, helped train me, and that's what I've trained for, and it's my duty. I didn't feel ready for it to be next in line, but I'll get you ready for it.
Yeah.
You know?
And then right at that scene, that same scene, we get a guard letting Rhaenyra know that Rhaenys is there.
In her dope-ass armor.
Yeah, and she wants to speak with her and Daemon. And she does, and that's where, yes, she looks, first off, she looks dope. I can't stress that enough. With her armor.
It seems to be like right after this whole thing, right?
Yeah,
she
went
flew straight
to Dragonstone.
Yeah.
And sure, she let us down last episode by not fucking Dracarys everybody, but
well, and Daemon asks her later on too, like, why didn't you just move forward and like burn all the Green Council? But her reasoning was valid.
I thought so too.
It really wasn't my war to start.
Yeah, this is you two.
Yeah, it's their vendetta. It would have been to their benefit, not necessarily to hers. So I mean, I get that at the same time.
Yeah, she would have done all the work for them. Yeah,
and even then, that doesn't guarantee anything. But
in a way, they held her captive. She was well within her right to, they're probably gonna execute her too if she and keep her
potentially
dragon. And keep her dragon.
Potentially, but I mean, it's hard to go off of what ifs because she was one of the guests that were treated the most well because she was Alicent's prisoner as opposed to Otto's prisoner, and their outcomes were different.
Correct. She's
right.
Yes, but she also is a Targaryen. Also, she has a dragon.
Yeah, there was a lot more valuable.
She's more valuable than the other one, so they didn't necessarily. And she's still at the present time in charge of Driftmark, so which obviously is a huge force.
Yeah, well, they definitely want her as an ally, but it's hard to say what could have been, right?
But fact is that when she breaks the news, it's so shocking and upsetting to Rhaenyra that she
goes into premeditated labor.
Yeah, and then we get another horrific.
Oh, another birth scene.
Dude, these are so intense, man. And by far, this one, I think, you know what? I was going to take away from the other ones.
Essentially fighting a war in her,
It's not easy being drunk all the time.
Yeah. She is going through her own battle, like her mom said. This is our battleground. And once again, I was going to say, like, it's probably the one I felt the most. But I don't know, man, because Queen Emma's was really bad, too. Yeah. And so was Lena's was bad too.
No, that's the cool thing I think about this series so far, that they don't shy away from that and like the atrocity and like the just how hard and intensive and like it can be to really give birth. And if in a world like this, it's all about who your heirs are, right? It's all about having heirs, because like even in the book, I think it was Maegor, he had like a hard time having kids. I don't even think he ever had kids, but he kept getting wives and stuff. So to have kids, like, because he couldn't he didn't have an heir to himself. It's such a big deal. I mean, Aemma had how many kids how many stillbirths,
Yeah.
Just to try to get,
finally took her life.
So, I mean, it's a big deal. And I think it's something that isn't shied away from on this show, which is fairly refreshing, I think. Like,
yeah, that's the beauty about the Game of Thrones. I feel like it really puts you in there.
But this one specifically feels different in that way.
Yeah, I think we could agree that like feeling maybe like somebody's death in through a battlefield or through like a sword, or putting to death by by fire with a dragon is one thing, but to really sit there, dude, and just for like 5 to 10 minutes just watch this agony of just and you're squirming and so are they, and when she's yelling Daemon, or she's yelling there, they can hear her from the council room.
Yeah, was she yelling Daemon or was she?
She yelled Daemon once, and they looked at him, and that's when the guard said, "Should you, Prince Daemon, do you wish to speak with the maester?
And he ignores
and
him.
he looks at him and he keeps talking and is like, oops,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, he ignores him.
So-
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's really cool, like, and really refreshing for them to do that. I mean, because it is fucking gnarly, you know? And then Queen Aemma, dude, honestly, just as a whole, what a performance for her. She had such an impact, and she was, like, only in, like, one episode, right?
Yeah, we still talk about her.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and she was really good, like, whatever she did, you know? Like,
Yeah, she seemed like just very wise
I think...
and to the best of her ability, just doing what she felt was best for the realm and doing what she felt was her duty.
Well, she was willing to go that far, you know? And then maybe she feels like she was on the show longer because Viserys would always, like, he kind of kept her alive with, like, the ring and kind of, like, mentioning her here and there.
Yeah, of course, that too. And then we constantly see these women go through it, right? Go through what she went through. Maybe not the same outcome, but in some of them, yes, you know. And then I get so nervous on these birth scenes because it's like, oh my god, here we go. It's like,
and it's like, is she gonna die? Is she gonna live? Like, it's not
Who
always
knows?
clear.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why I think she set the tone on how these things can play out, and they're not nice. Sometimes it takes a turn a lot of the times, and it's so sad and grotesque, and it's just I like it because it makes you feel a certain way, right? I'm uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but I appreciate it for how the directors and writers made me feel whenever there's scenes like that. I think it's very artistic.
Yeah, and then I mean, she's doing it pretty much by herself.
Yeah.
Daemon's not there. The Handmaid's Tale ladies are off to the side and, like, want to help her, but she doesn't want. She wants nothing.
Dude, it was so funny when she's like, it's well before her term, and then the other, she's like, it's fucking happening. Man.
Yeah, I
Get
know.
with it, dude.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool too.
Yeah, and we don't see the baby, but in the books, it's supposed
we do
to.
see the baby,
Well, we do see the baby,
but
I'm
it's
so
not.
sorry.
It's
Not
just.
so
Yeah, it's we see him, but not
cute feet,
fully.
not so cute head.
Yeah, but I thought it was gonna be. I was just prepared to see something more grotesque, right?
Me too.
Like, because they said it was scaly and, like, more
Kind of like
dragon-like.
Daenerys when she has her
Yes, like the
her
Maggie.
baby. Exactly.
Yeah, like, it seemed like that, and I was ready to see it.
Yeah,
if
me
they
too.
Showed it,
I thought they were really gonna make it grotesque, like really, really. I know
Me
it wasn't
too.
great, but I thought they were really gonna go the extra mile and have it had the scales, even though they said that it did have scales. I wanted it different, like.
Me
But it's
too.
okay.
Me too. But I mean,
Whatever.
it was good enough.
It was good enough, yeah. And her performance was good enough.
And you know what? I actually heard that there was a cut scene from that part where Daemon actually does go to Rhaenyra's side and they cry, like, or they hug or something like that.
Yeah.
But they removed a lot of the Daemon scenes that were, like, sweeter.
Where you humanize them.
Yes, because there was also another scene where he hugged.
We get a little bit of it. We see him at the beach.
But I
just
think
takes a knee and
yes, but even that they cut that scene. It was longer than that. But he was supposed to be, like, distraught and, like, basically mourning by himself. Like, basically crying with Rhaenyra and then mourning by himself on the beach. All those beach memes you see where it's like, it's gonna be over, and like, those are all from that scene, and we only got, like, a second of it.
yeah.
So it's kind of tragic. You have the scene where, like, with Bela and Rhaena where they're hugging, where they took that out too, where he's hugging them after their mom died. So it's interesting to see that the things that made the end floor are less of those humanizing, sweeter things of Daemon. I think they want him to be really ambiguous, but more on the evil side, or, like, you know what I mean? More on the war, negative, like that type.
It's not easy
Damn.
being drunk all the time.
Damn it.
I'll drink with you.
That was good, man.
So then we see Jace tries to kind of like my mother says, you know, whatever, trying to keep everything in order, that Daemon's not in charge, and Daemon completely ignores them.
Well, because Rhaenyra sent him, right? And
Correct.
just
And
to,
she's
like,
right.
make sure nothing happens without
Yes.
my consent.
Yeah, because she's right.
She knows him.
If they're upset about her getting jumped over or the throne being stolen from her, that means that they're upset because they think she should be queen. If you think she should be queen, you have to respect her fucking orders. And Daemon really always has had a trouble with authority.
True.
And he's, like, he's known as the rogue prince for a fucking reason. And he hasn't changed. And so he ignores them, but then he takes the boys out, Luke and Jace, to show them like this
teach them a lesson in
and
loyalty. Yeah.
Which to me it just foreshadows how everything within the next this episode or whatever, how people are gonna start picking sides, and that's the first one we get to see from the Black Targaryens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Asking them, hey.
Which we had the same thing on the Greens, the Green Council, where they rallied all of the people,
lords in King's Landing
to see where they stood and kind of persuaded them in a way where the alternative was not good, right?
It was the same thing, except Otto didn't do it with the dragon.
Yeah, he did it with the Kingsguards.
Yeah, so this one, a dragon is obviously more convincing. Oh, and I don't think they needed it to begin with, but he was trying to teach them.
But that goes to say, like, it's good. You should at this point, you should question the people in your camp, because they could just say something, and then later on dip.
Yeah, that's what I would have done.
Well,
remember I told
exactly.
you betray.
Yeah, that's what.
I would have done that. Yeah, fuck yes.
But that's the thing. So I mean, they should be questioning their court and their king's guards and all that, because right now everything's so iffy. Like, they just got the news.
I would not. I would be so sneaky. I would play the game.
You would be Varys. You would have no eyebrows.
I have no eyebrows. You said
Varys didn't have eyebrows, right?
But no, I'm not talking about Varys. I'm talking about.
I know, but I would say you would probably be Varys.
I would be...
Or Littlefinger.
I don't think I could be like Littlefinger, but I can definitely have a little bit of Varys.
You'd be all powdered and, like, wearing those little... those with the hands together.
Oh, he never showed his hands, huh? He always had them, like...
No, I always felt like he had dainty hands. It was 20 below,
and he was just like...
Yeah, he was like... I don't know what they're called, but, like, those Russian things that you put your hands into.
I don't know what those are.
They're just like, I don't, they're for the war.
Okay, we're getting off track here, but
it's relevant.
Point is, I would be sneaky and not so much a fighter. I think we could agree on that, right?
Yeah. I don't know how I would be, man.
And then I just leave to Pentos. I don't need to stay here.
Pentos.
So the next scene is a little, I think it's a little sad, because they're burning the baby, right? As they do, they burn their dead, Rhaenyra's baby, and we see Eric, I think,
or Arik, one of the Eric.
I think it's Eric,
brothers.
the one that joins the Blacks, and he shows up, and they try to stop him. He's like, "Relax, brothers, I come in peace."
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, brother, just relax."
Oh no, he's back, and
Hulk Hogan energy.
He bends the knee and gives the crown that he stole from King's Landing, and it was Viserys' crown.
Yeah,
and he gives it over to Daemon. Daemon kind of has this moment where he's just staring at it. And
yeah, I mean, it's like the last. It's a very poignant moment where it's like he never got to say goodbye, so it's like the last thing.
But it was Sir Eric, the first one that kneels for the queen and calls her the queen. Yeah. And pledges his oath to the queen.
And he went out of his way to do all of this. Mm-hmm. So it means even more. And I think the fact that there's some allegiance there, I mean, you see Rhaenyra's face too, and she's kind of like taken aback, because I think it was unclear for her if, in general, right, like people were going to accept her at all. Even going back to when Daemon took her out. Mm-hmm. In the city, like, people didn't like her. No. So
I think it goes against everything that they know, being led by a woman. That's not something they're used to, and obviously there's going to be some resistance. But this guy I thought it was a very powerful scene where he just bends the knee and pledges fealty to the queen. And here you go, man. I brought this shit for you, and then Daemon puts it on, and then bends the knee and calls her my queen, and then everybody bends the knee except
very Jon Snow.
very Jon Snow, the
My queen.
My queen. Oh God, that last season kills me.
Everyone bends the knee except for Rhaenys, which she's still undecided because Corlys hasn't come back.
Yeah,
and she said it from the jump that she only came and told her because she felt the duty per her house.
Yeah, because of her grandkids and
but she was never certain until she heard later on how Rhaenyra was handling things.
Yes, I mean, that's fair, right?
Yeah,
Why
you
should
don't
I
know.
pledge my fealty to you, and thousands of my people are gonna die? Because that's a fact.
Well,
if we go to war, thousands of my people are gonna die.
And I don't know what type of ruler you
It's
are.
not easy being drunk all the time.
I said it.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh man, I didn't hear you.
Yeah. So, I think she's doing the right thing. I mean, I wouldn't just blindly. If I had the option, obviously, some people aren't giving that option right away. Like you have to fake it or kneel, or it is what it is.
Or it takes money or whatever.
Something. In this case, she was already given a good deal, so which is why it works out for her.
Yeah, but I don't think she wants to counsel with her husband. He's on his way.
Yeah.
So I mean, might as well wait. But she did give her like a respectful nod, which is nice. Their relationship is turning into something more.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. That's kind of nice to see. But then we're back to the beginning with Otto coming
Showing
through.
Up. Yes.
And they show
this
that
piece of shit.
there's I think they get a message that a ship with like green dragons.
That's a banner with
three.
A green banner with three-headed golden dragon, which I think is what happens.
But they said it was green. Also, no.
I think, at least in the books, what it is, it's the greens have like it's a green background, obviously,
Yeah,
and a golden three-headed dragon. It's the same emblem, but it's gold, and the reason they did it is Sunfire. It's supposed to be
Aegon's dragon.
Yeah, but it's also the prettiest dragon out of all of them. It's supposed to be really, really like just breathtaking dragon the way it looks. So, anyways, that's why they have that banner, which we haven't really seen it much.
No, we haven't really seen it yet.
I think it's finally
So he
start popping up
comes through, and it's literally a similar scene. Yeah,
from a previous episode.
Yeah, from like episode 1 or 2 or something.
I think it was probably 2 or something.
Yeah, it was early on, and so another face off. Otto, terrible hair, and
Horrible.
Daemon.
Yeah.
This time, Rhaenyra also pulls up on her dragon, but she's wearing the crown this time.
Yeah.
And instead of facing off with Daemon, she's on Daemon's side.
Yeah. And she goes up to Otto, you fucking piece of shit traitor. I mean, not like that, but
well,
pretty much.
she tells him like, I'm the queen now, and like you guys are all traitors.
And
like,
takes off his hand.
she takes off his hand thing.
Yeah, because
The pin.
if she
It's a
truly
mummer's
believes
boss.
it's like get the fuck out of here. You're not it. This doesn't. It doesn't. What is
No,
this?
he has balls.
Get this fake ID out of here, dude. And then he hands her this thing from the book that they used Alicent and her.
It was like the story of Nymeria and her ships, I think, or something.
Yeah, maybe I don't.
But yeah, it was the story when they were like studying under the God's Wood, and she just ripped out the page and was like, just rip it out, and she's like, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Oh god! And
But you know what though, it is saying something that she kept it all these years. I think Alicent did, because they left off on a good note, but I think she did always want to try to get back to at least being friends.
there's still some sort of, I don't know, I almost said love,
It's more of like,
but that might be a little too strong.
yeah, I think it's like an affinity for each other, that there's like a care, like they care about each other to an extent, but they're just too far gone with like the ideals of her dad and her are literally contradictory. So there's no there's no meeting in the middle if she's following what her dad says.
Yeah.
You know? So, but at the end, we find out Rhaenyra is just, Aemond kind of ended everything for any type of reconciliation.
Yeah, at the end, with what happens with Luke and Aemond, that all of that's out the fucking window.
But that is saying a lot that Alicent kept that page for so long, and also,
let's not forget that she was also adamant about getting Aegon before Otto did, because she was trying to also prevent.
She now knows what her dad is like in the midst of all this. She's kind of learned that,
but now she's tough enough to face him or to stand up to her dad, right?
Yeah, and at the same time, she's rooted for Rhaenyra in the sense she's always said like, hey, this is her claim though, or she's believed her when she said that Daemon didn't do anything to her, or she didn't do anything with Daemon. Like, she's kind of been a proponent for her up into a certain point, but then she kind of just separated because, again, Otto kind of sticks his nose and poisons her mind, you know?
I guess so, but also, let's not forget that she was in King's Landing for a lot of years by herself without Otto poisoning her mind.
No, I know, but it was just
I think she always had it in her.
It's the rage from the beginning, right? As a kid, you get a lot of attributes and a lot of things branded on you from early on. And so then afterwards it was like protecting her kids, she grew resentment with like Viserys always favoring Rhaenyra and stuff, which like she felt alone, which I get.
But with Aegon as a fucking little asshole.
No, I understand, and I don't agree with that. She blind to that. She could have been that
good of a mom, dude. If your kid is that shitty, I don't think you're necessarily doing your job.
But I think she wanted him to be better, and that's why she always slapped the shit out of him. You know what I mean?
Did it work?
No, exactly. But what I mean is like, she was blind to an extent, but so was Viserys to an extent. Rhaenyra also had kids out of either, that's what I'm saying. Rhaenyra also had a lot of kids out of wedlock and shit like that.
Yeah.
So it's just both parents.
She should have killed the white stag. That's what she should have done.
No, that just shows, dude. Well, think about it. It just shows that she has restraint, which is harder to get than to be rash and fucking just kill anything in your path. That's more Daemon, right? But then to pull back when it's necessary, it's hard to pull a bow back once your hand's gone through, you know? But if you know when to shoot, you're going to get the aim. So it's just, it's very telling of, I think, with the future and how she's going to handle things. And that's what Rhaenys says later, right?
Well, yeah, she holds it together pretty well. At least not impulsive.
She thinks things through.
Yeah, which is good in a leader, but thinking it through too much.
Yeah, but we don't really know yet.
We don't know yet.
You know, but yeah, so they have a face-off.
Because I hear like, I start thinking, yes, take all of the dragons right now before any alliances and just go kill. You don't have to burn down King's Landing. You can burn just down where Aegon's.
Yeah, but they also
the Red Keep.
There's a lot of things going against them. They also have dragons. I think Baela isn't very good at riding yet, so you have to discount her. Like,
no, you don't,
because she's not very good at riding her dragon. That was like something that I heard about. That was in the books. So she's not. We don't have all the information, right? Because it's just the show.
Correct, but
Baela Seguin is...
And one thing that I don't understand here is that, like, well, what about all these? And this is in the books, by the way. They're like, there's a lot of dragons, but not all of them have riders. What about that? Well, let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, that we had Daenerys for the better part of what, I don't know, 6 seasons or 7 seasons, just like would handle business. Not counting the first one, actually, would use her dragons by herself. She would, ride one Drogon, and then the other two would still help and fuck shit up, but not necessarily have dragon riders, right? So it's possible, is what I'm saying, to have maybe one dragon that leads with a rider, and then another 2 or 3 that don't have riders still fucking know what side they're on. If there's no not enough dragon riders, not enough Targaryens, you know?
Yeah, no, I never thought that was that big of an issue, but
Me neither, but I think it's going to be an issue in this particular story.
but also, yeah, because we also don't know what a bonded pair of a dragon looks like. In Game of Thrones, we just had Daenerys, and that's it. And they were always raised together and bonded together.
Because she hatched all three, right?
Yes, all together.
So that could be
the factor where the reason why, right?
I just figured it out, dude.
Right.
But
But in this case, you're already bonded with one, and it's like, what if is it Cyrax?
Which one?
Is Daemon's?
Hers? No,
Or is that
Caraxes is his.
Okay.
Cyrax is
Caraxes, like, what if they
Rhaenyra's.
get jealous? Because we obviously know that they have all these emotions that are hard to control.
Yeah.
So it's like, then you're going to have your dragon fighting against the dragon you're riding. We don't really know, is all I'm saying.
Who knows?
So
All I'm saying that I thought it was possible to maybe have some sort of connection with some dragons that don't necessarily have riders, and that maybe they can use them and then just go and take care of business now. But this whole thing about I don't want to rule over ashes type of thing.
Well,
It's like you don't have to. You
but
don't
I-
have to burn the entire city. You have one target. Go now instead of going to Storm's End with the Baratheons, where their biggest dragon of the Greens is at. You go straight to King's Landing. Fuck them
well,
up
at the
really
same
quick.
time,
Get back, and then you have one person, one dragon to deal with.
I don't think it's that easy. Like, I think, first of all, she's still contemplating Otto's offer.
Yes, that's a problem.
So she's still contemplating that. Well, she's also thinking about the lives of her kids and like her family. Her dad just died. Her other kid just died. Like, it's also, she's weighing that too. But I think I saw a video, and like, if I can find it, I'll link it, and I'll link it on our YouTube. But it was just describing like, why was it that she didn't take on Daemon's plan, and basically it ended up being that like, I don't know if it's Baela or Rhaena. I think it's Baela who has the dragon now.
Baela has a dragon.
So she's not a very good rider, so you can't really use her. The other dragons are fairly small, which you could use, but then you're out princes if any of them dies. And then Rhaenyra is still recovering from labor.
Yeah.
So you really only have like Daemon and
The Luke and Jace.
and again, they're small. Then you're gonna get rid of your heirs. Like, you don't really want to send both of your princes out.
Yeah, I guess so.
So then in this case, you really only have Melees and Caraxes, and that's if she wants to.
That's if she wants to.
And so then that's really only 2 dragons against their 3. And then I think they also have Aegon's kids have little dragons too, like hatchlings and stuff, because they have twins.
Oh,
So it's like, it's just not. It's really, it seems easier than what it is, right?
yeah.
So, and then honestly, you only have those 2, and then they have Vhagar.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, but Vhagar's so.
that's
fucking
what I
huge.
mean. So it counts for, like, it's just not smart.
But what I'm saying is, Vhagar wasn't even in King's Landing.
They didn't know that.
Correct. They didn't. But
So, so it's just, what, you're going to get rid of all your dragons in one throw? Then you're screwed.
Well, that's not the plan to get rid of them. You're going to use them.
Yes, but what I'm
be-
saying is, if you add it up, it still isn't like.
Yeah.
And I'll see if I can find that video and link it, and then I'll show it to you too, because it's pretty interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, so then that happens. She's still contemplating. And then her, Rhaenyra and Daemon have this really interesting talk about the prophecy, Aegon's prophecy, right? Song of Ice and Fire.
Well, because he kind of challenged her. He challenges her authority in front of everybody. And this is where I think Rhaenys gains respect from her. Right? Respect for her, I'm sorry. And she asked for the rumor to be cleared after Daemon, made it abundantly clear how he feels.
Yeah, he like starts yelling at her, kind of.
The enemy.
Yeah, you have to be willing to fight. Like, what? He's like yelling at her.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Right? Because I think this is frustration that he went through with his brother, of overthinking things, of trying to keep the peace, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but look where he got his brother. It's too much of it is not good. Not in this Not in this world.
He would have continued to rule had he not been sick, right?
He was still going to die.
Eventually.
Correct.
But
And there was still going to be a conflict.
there was a reason for creating peace. Like, that's the whole thing, right? He's entrusting Rhaenyra because he thinks she's going to be the one to unify. The whole prophecy is about unifying, like, Westeros, keeping everybody unified, keeping the peace, not fighting.
Yeah, but he went ahead and had a second marriage with more kids, and almost ensuring that the unification was actually not
He
going to
obviously
happen.
was an emotional dude. He didn't I don't think he anticipated that.
Only an idiot would not see how that would have been a problem in the future.
Well, I still don't think he anticipated that because he goes based off of his emotions. So does Daemon in a different way, in different situations.
Daemon's more realistic and right.
Always?
Not always right, but in
this
some
case,
cases,
I don't think he's right.
we'll find out.
Well, we'll find out, but I don't think he's right. I mean, and
He was right about his brother. Had he, I still think had he made Daemon the hand of the king,
possibly,
they wouldn't have been poisoning him or giving him milk of the poppy.
We also don't know if he's
he was getting milk
poisoned.
of the poppy for sure.
Well, yeah,
purpose.
but he was also sick for sure.
Okay, he was also sick, but they were also doing it to cloud his judgment.
But
that we know.
But again,
right?
We don't know. Again, that's a whole conspiracy that we might discuss on another episode. But in either case, if you're granting that the prophecy is true, which given what happened in Game of Thrones, we know something like that did happen, then their whole purpose for being on the throne is not because they want to rule. It's because they feel like they need to rule and keep the peace to gear up for this big event that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I thought you meant to say the word and you said
just
it.
Say it. You haven't said it.
No, I haven't said it, but when I will say it when I intend to say it.
Okay,
I'm not holding back or anything.
So she realizes that Daemon doesn't know what she's talking about when she's talking about
the song, the prophecy of the Song of Ice and Fire. She thought he was informed of it. Yeah, and he has no fucking clue.
He has no clue.
And then, he's also very frustrated by the fact that his brother was a certain way with his prophecies and dreams. And
then but he never understood because he was never clued in on it, right?
No.
And he's also a superstitious guy, which is not weird to be superstitious in Westeros, But
if what we know is, if what the series is true, what Viserys said was true is that, almost all the Targaryens are dragon riders, and that's special, in it by itself. But however, amongst Targaryens, there's not a lot of people that are dreamers. Mm-hmm. But Aegon was both, and he's having these dreams that you and I and everybody that watched the first series knows that there's some truth to it. And,
but someone like Daemon doesn't know, doesn't think that way, and he doesn't
Correct.
have those, and he thinks it's all superstitious and whatever. But so he starts to choke Rhaenyra out, which is like crazy.
Take it easy.
Well, it's even worse because she's the queen now.
Yes, and his wife.
And his wife, yes.
And she just lost their baby.
Yeah.
Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, and he gets all some type of way because he's reminded of his brother, right? In how she's handling things and how she's whatever, because she likes that part of her that's more Daemon. Mm-hmm. I think she likes both parts because she loves her brother too. He loves his brother too, but I think it angers him that she's reacting in this way and now spewing things that are similar to what Viserys would say, right?
Yeah. And then we get a cool shot of Corlys.
Guess who's back?
Back again.
Corlys is back.
I was going to try to...
Tell a friend.
Yeah. No, he's back and...
He looks great.
I don't know how he was close to death.
Luscious hair. He's a little sweaty, but who wouldn't be? He just got off a boat.
He's not even that sweaty. He looks like one of the bad guys in Bad Boys 2. One of those Jamaicans. And he looks great, dude. And he doesn't look like he even had the flu,
He's
which is
just-
crazy to me.
And he still has enough strength to talk shit to Rhaenys for falling asleep on duty.
Yeah. And they start talking about, she kind of brings him up to speed. Hey, by the way, your brother doesn't have a head.
Yeah, and all of a sudden he's like siding with her and being like, you know what, Rhaenys, you were right. We should retire and get out of here and just like, you remember Rhaenyra? Yeah, she's a bad egg, just like you said. Like he's just trying to agree with her and like be like, yeah, I want to retire now. And she's like, well, no.
Well, at first he was trying to justify everything by saying that he lost everything, and she was like, hey, Papi, take it back. We both lost everything. You're acting like you're the only fucking person that lost both their kids.
Yeah, he's
being selfish.
Yeah, and
so
he abandoned her too,
and just completely just was trying to fill that void for himself instead of helping her also cope with this pain together and grief together and figure it out together.
Much like Rhaenys, who was trying to do that same shit and leave and fight and have adventures while everything was being questioned. Remember?
Yeah. And good point.
Yeah,
just father like son, I guess.
So
and
Rhaenyra kind of tells him that she's seen how Rhaenyra has handled the
she's
proposition
handling it well. She thinks, and I do too. She seems like she would be a good leader, a good queen, and
how they're handling everything at the table and and going into,
then we're in the council room again, and there's some bickering going on, and all of a sudden, somebody just sees Corlys and Rhaenys come into the room, and then there's just
sauntering in on his
By the way, I
cane.
wonder if there's a rule about that. I was thinking when they said that, it's like, is it anybody that sees some sort of lord walk in has to say it?
I think,
and if so,
yeah,
can multiple people do it, or and if so, is there sometimes where a bunch of people say it at the same time?
I feel like it's the squire at the door or the knight at the door has
This
to
guy
announce
was by the table.
Has to announce them coming in.
There was people by the door. Well,
I thought it was the guy by the door.
No, it was somebody like in the council. It was like, Lord, fucking what's his name, Corlys, Valerian, and Princess Rhaenys Targaryen, and I was like, all of a sudden, just like,
yeah, I don't know, but there's for sure somebody that announces.
Oh, I know, seen him.
Yeah.
But he shows up and makes a fucking entrance as he should, and he's alive. He's limping a little bit. He has a cane. Yeah. A lot of canes in this season.
A lot of Diddy back in the day.
Yeah, and he looks great.
He looks great. Limping a little bit, but that's good. That's cool.
And he, starts off by giving his condolences to Rhaenyra, and he starts by also saying, like, are these your bannermen? Are these the ones that you have on your side? Not enough to win a war.
Yeah, he seems very. He's one of the more seasoned, like,
and
veterans here, right?
And Rhaenyra tells him when he starts saying, "Well, so did the Tullys, Baratheons, and Starks all swore an oath to me." And it's like, so did the Hightowers. Yeah. And then she goes, so did you.
Yeah.
Kind of puts him on the spot there. And look, it worked. And he decided to.
Yeah. Well, again, to mostly, I think that was mostly due to Rhaenys' plea to do so.
It was all Rhaenys, but he needed to hear that.
She felt that she was the only one that held restraint. Everyone else wanted to go to war and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And
it's not easy being drunk all the time.
Whoa, somebody almost fell.
Not me.
And that was a powerful moment when they finally get officially have another ally
and a big ally, and then
huge ally.
He starts to kind of point out that they've actually secured the stepstones and they have
It's a good move.
militants in place. He learned from the last time they didn't really they just had bodies.
Well,
chilling
I was thinking when all that was happening and when he came down the steps and he said that he was actually gonna be on her side. I was thinking maybe should they move? Obviously, they're gonna have some sort of camp there, but that's gonna be a good camp because they can apply the same tactics that they faced against the Crab King, right? Like they.
Yeah, I mean, they now that they have like all of this space, because what Corlys was saying is that they could basically secure those barge there, and then you have Driftmark
Like
and
a
you
blockade.
so that they block all the trade. So eventually, you're not going to be able to get food to King's Landing.
Guess what, dude? Gas is going up in King's Landing. That's for sure.
For sure,
By $6 a gallon, just like California.
Yeah, wine.
Wine too. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And
so
milk of the poppy. Forget it. Good luck trying to get a little bit of that.
Yeah. So it's pretty smart. Just like.
No, it's very smart.
Yeah.
And,
so now you can feel like the tone has changed and everything's a little bit more like there's hope, when before it was kind of like, oh, we only have like 300 people on the island.
Yeah. And we then Jace comes up with the idea, which isn't a bad idea, of delivering the messages himself and alongside with his brother to kind of go in separate places, but both delivering messages instead of sending them with the Raven, and it's much faster and also carries more weight when you show up yourself.
Did you see freaking Luke's face when Jace volunteered them? He's like, what? He's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because he's like, no, send us. And she's like,
shut up.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, he's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that was, anyways. So Rhaenyra has this moment with them, specifically with Luke, and makes them swear, like, hey, man, you're going as a messenger, not a warrior. Swear on the, I was going to say the Bible. Swear on the
seven.
On the seven. And they do. And, to the best of their ability, at least Luke, who is the one we see, intends to keep that and does his best to keep that promise. He arrives there and
there is definitely an emphasis on Luke and like
this whole episode.
Yeah.
Which, if you've gone through this, you know that I had a feeling about it. That he was gonna die the entire episode because it was centered.
It starts with him and then with his woes, and it keeps going. You're feeling for him. You're getting to know his internal struggle a little bit.
Yeah, and they're kind of adding depth to his character, only to later kill it. But hey, that's what happens in this series, and there's no exception here. He shows up to Storm's End, and he sees Vhagar right there, and you really see the difference when they have those shots with them side by side, and it's very intimidating and impressive, the size of Vhagar, and you really know that they're in trouble.
Yeah, but he definitely, I mean, when he goes, because he lands at Storm's Landing, sees Vhagar, he's obviously huge.
Yeah.
And
by the way, when we were watching, I said, I'll fucking get back on your dragon,
but then
dude.
he looks like a coward.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm giving him his credit because I think
Yeah, you would have dipped?
I think so. I think I was like, this is not good.
I think I would have had to just...
I think I would have been
through.
like, well, this is definitely a setup. And not even like...
But I don't understand why they wouldn't send like somebody else with them, like another King's Guard or something.
It's stupid, right?
That's the only thing. Like, I would have somebody with me because I'm also valuable. You take me for ransom and we're fucked.
Yeah, you didn't even have to kill me.
No.
You could just keep hold me captive.
I'm a prize pig.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so they go in there. Yes. So they go in there, and then Aemon is
Aemon's already there, dude.
He's there, and basically the decision has been made that because they're providing something, I think there's like an exchange of I think he's gonna marry off one of his daughters. Then they're
to probably Aemond, because we as far as we know,
That's
he's not
true.
betrothed to anybody.
Unless they promised Aegon's kids.
Yeah,
So I mean,
they promised something.
they
some
promised
sort of marriage pact.
a marriage. Yeah. So with
And
someone, and then
I'm almost willing to bet that it was
Aemon.
that it was Aemon. Yeah, but we don't know yet, right?
Yeah.
We just know that it was a marriage pact, and unfortunately, Luke showed up with fucking a whole lot of nothing other than
With,
remember your
like-
promise.
Yeah, and so he doesn't like that. And then Boros, I think it sounded like somebody had a stutter. Boros,
Mm-hmm.
Baratheon, when they wrote his name.
Yeah.
And then we get a glimpse of the sapphire eye.
Which I thought was really cool.
Well, I thought it was cool too. I thought
Mm-hmm.
it was cooler than I thought, because with the CGI and everything, it's hard to know what it's going to look like. But it looked better than I thought. But
I think you should get rid of the eye patch, honestly.
But
it's
do.
yeah, more
I don't know. It's kind of cool.
the eye patch.
Yeah.
Well, look,
We've
we
discussed this.
discussed this. Eye patches make you way cooler in movies and shows or whatever. In real life, they kind of creep me out a
Video
little bit.
games.
But in video games, anything that is not the real world.
But you know what though?
But the sapphire, I think, is
do-
cooler than the eye patch right now.
I do wonder, like, is it stuck there? Does he clean it? Like,
Look,
how did it get it?
You're getting too caught up in all of that.
but is it like
There's-
a giant size? Can he take it out and put a ruby in there? Probably not, because
Is
it's
it
red, but
Can he exchange it
for
exchange
another
it?
gem.
I'm sure he can.
Or is it just stuck in there? Does he
Is
have
it just
to,
like
does
hammered
he have
it in
to
there?
like, well, is it just large enough
So what do you mean?
to get stuck?
Well, yeah,
Well, and can he unstuck it?
unstuck it.
Like stick it, but unstuck it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. All these questions are
Those
being
are just all things that I was thinking when I was watching
the
it.
way I think.
Because
well,
it looks pretty in there.
I just went straight to like, oh, that shit's permanently in his face. That's all I thought, and I was like, oh, it looks pretty good.
Oh, it was like, ooh, can he replace?
Yeah.
I was just
It's
like, all
can
these
he
questions.
change it? Like, like
It's like that meme where they have all these questions.
yeah.
Or all
I
these
think you were thinking more
calculations.
like somebody that would use it as an accessory. Like
Well, he put it in there because he likes sapphires.
he doesn't need it.
No, it's an
Yeah.
accessory.
Yeah, and he looks good with it. I think it looks
good.
better than the eye patch, and I like the eye patch. I'm not mad at
No,
the eye
I
patch.
think it looks fine.
I want it for the eye patch
Yeah.
community out there. Hey, take it easy. I still like the eye patches. All I'm saying is, in this particular case, once he took it off, I was like, oh shit, that's way cooler. But that's my my opinion.
Yeah. So then
And then all of a sudden, this little asshole wants.
his eye, and it's already been settled. You're not
Yeah,
getting his eye.
You're not getting his eye. You got the biggest dragon in the world, you piece of shit.
You literally said, "I got a dragon."
Yeah,
instead
it's a
of an
fair
eye."
exchange.
Stop bitching about it
Yeah.
now.
Then apparently it wasn't a fair exchange.
No, he's
I'd be
so
like,
salty as
I will
shit.
take my fucking eye out. You give me Vhagar.
He acts like he doesn't care, but
Yeah, he's
even though he's like a 40-year-old, he's supposed to be a little kid. So
no.
I know. It's ridiculous. And then so they end up leaving. Like Luke denies that, and then Boros from the storyline is like, not in my house.
Mhm.
So they escort him back to his dragon, and then they're basically Aemond starts to chase
fucking-
him. Like, what did he think was gonna happen?
I don't know.
honestly?
Also, what is it? Hurricane Katrina going out there? It's
It was-
fucking
well,
shitty. ass weather.
Stormlands.
I know it's a storm's end.
Stormlands, though.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But and it's living to its full name, right? And
Yeah,
it's-
because I thought about that too, and I was like, duh.
of course, yeah. How cliche.
Yeah,
typical.
they have Storm from the X-Men just chilling out there on the
Yeah, she's
island
just
the whole
like-
time. Yeah, she's just being Halle Berry. It's
With
Halle Berry.
But you know how her eyes go all way.
Yeah. She literally lives there,
Yeah. And
and it's a chase. But I was thinking about
dude,
it.
that chase was so good.
It was
I wanna-
good. I mean,
Because I was gripping my jeans. I just like fucking like I was way
Cheeto fingers all
Cheeto
over.
fingers all over. Yeah, and I was nervous the entire time. And I love the shot when
The shadow.
well, it wasn't a shadow. It was like actually Vhagar
Well,
up top.
the shadow of his body.
Well, yes, you see the silhouette.
Yeah.
And you see how much bigger he is and how the tail itself of Vhagar not even all of it. Like half of it, of his tail, is what's his name? What's the Arax's size?
Yeah.
You know, you go like, oh fuck,
But
he
you
has
know
no
what?
chance,
He
dude.
had kind of like, because he is faster and like smaller, so he was. I mean, Luke did a good job of going into those like
He handled
those
himself pretty
canyons.
good,
Yeah,
man.
like the space, and then he did the first hit, not intentionally because
Let's just be clear. Luke did nothing wrong. Well, he handled himself well.
Well,
Like he went
better
in
than
there.
I thought.
I would have fucking dipped out of there, and he didn't. He went in there and followed through what he said he was gonna do.
Yes.
He made a promise to his mom, and he fucking kept it, right? And then when they called him Lord Strong, it's like he backed down. He was gonna lose that fight, but
Yeah.
he wasn't. He's not a coward by any means. And then when he was being chased, he had a good strategy. He was doing well. It's just like, unfortunately, we get when Viserys says that the fact that we think that we can control dragons, it's an illusion.
Yeah, that's very
we see it here.
Well,
They're still beasts.
and we see that Daemon is wrong in his
Beast.
belief. Yeah, Daemon is wrong
Yeah.
in his belief that dragons are going to solve all of their problems. That's a complete contradictory to what Viserys is saying. It's an illusion. They have a mind of their own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've destroyed us in the past. You know, and we see it here.
Yeah. And to put it in perspective, Viserys was the last rider of Balerion. And for those of you out there, if you're not too familiar with this, Balerion was Aegon the Conqueror's dragon.
The Black Dread.
The Black Dread. And he was way bigger than Vhagar, who we see here. So imagine that fucking dragon. And his last rider is saying, hey, man, the fact that we think we can control them is such an illusion.
And he saw, that's the thing. Like, he saw, he's the son of Jaehaerys, and Jaehaerys was he basically... Grandson. Yeah. So, I mean, just seeing that reign, because he lived for a long time, right? And he was given rule by him.
Yeah.
Right? Jaehaerys got given a mess of... Westeros was a mess because Maegor made it into a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And he, as a young boy, because they called him the Boy King or something, managed to
Maintain the peace, bring it together.
Bring everything together in a way that was unforeseen ever.
By the way, we see his dragon. We think it's his dragon.
Oh, yes, which is Vermithor.
Vermithor, yeah.
Yeah, so...
And that's the one that Daemon is singing trying to... I don't know if he's trying to,
I think he's trying
obviously,
to... Yeah, he's trying to, that's the thing. We don't really know. You can have two riders, or if you have to put one away. We don't really know what the deal is.
I don't think he could ride two at the same time, but he could. I think he could ride two, right?
Well,
if he can manage it. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out.
He's obviously trying to wake him up from his slumber so that he can be an asset to them.
Huge asset. I think.
So we going back to Aemond and Luke and how they're going. So obviously Luke's dragon is no match for Vhagar. No match. And then the whole time Aemond is bickering at him, laughing at him. I like that they kind of tell each other stuff in Valyrian. I just like the sound of the language too. But it's cool. It feels more authentic.
Well, they're speaking to the dragon and they're almost saying the same thing, right?
But we didn't really get that. They're both in Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, but, right before he was focus. In Valyrian, he was telling him, focus.
Yeah.
Obey me.
Thinking because of the rain.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at least Luke knew that the dragon was going to be maybe distracted or a little harder to control in the climate.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't anticipate, obviously, Aemond.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're both trying to kind of get control of the dragons. And that's the thing. What does Aemond think is going to happen when he's taunting them? And
yeah,
I
expected... Here's the thing. I really did expect Luke to die. I didn't want him to die, but I thought that he would. However, what I didn't really think that it was going to be somewhat not on purpose.
That it was going to be like
Yeah.
by the dragon.
Well, I expected the dragon maybe, not like that.
By the intentions of the dragon.
Yeah, not Aemon, right?
Yeah.
Because they both lost control of their dragons, which is why
Can't fuck with that.
with Vhagar, and this is why we were talking about it's an illusion. It's more up to an extent, is how I would say it. They can control them, they can ride them up to an extent. Because after, look, Arax felt threatened. He fucking came at Vhagar and burnt him a little bit, and that's all it took, dude. And Vhagar just like went at it and snapped.
And he's so much bigger, it's like not even.
Yeah. So as long as he just felt the right angle,
and then Aemon knew he fucked up. He started to cry, like. But what can you do? You started this war. Like, there's no way Rhaenyra can take that deal.
Yeah.
Or there's any semblance of peace.
Yeah.
After that happening,
it's over.
It's over.
And then we see the shot of. It was so good too. It's sad but good. Where Daemon finds out and he walks in. And he takes her, pulls her aside, holds her hand, and then I really love this shot. And I was telling you, look at this. This shot is so good because her back is to the camera, and we just see her hear the news. We don't actually hear it. We see it.
Yeah, Daemon like.
And think about that performance. Like we see her hear it because we know what happened, and we don't know what the words were that were said, but we see the reaction, and she kind of starts to keel over, right? And I think she's going to fall and then just weep as a mother probably would.
Yeah.
But then she doesn't. She holds it together and then gets straights up, turns around. She has tears in her eyes, but she's
mad.
angry.
She's mad.
It's over.
It's done.
There's no chance of any type of peace.
The Black Queen has arisen.
Yes. I'm interested to see if this is a transformation, right?
If she caters more towards the Daemon side than the Viserys side.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like,
I'm interested to see like what Aemon says when he gets back. Like, is he gonna own that? Like, oh, I fucked up. It was an accident. Is he gonna say it was an accident? Is he gonna say it was gonna happen anyways? Is he gonna say it wasn't like he doesn't know what happened?
Yeah.
Like, because obviously there was confrontation happening at Storm's End, so that's going to get out somehow.
Well, his mom is probably going to chew his ass up a little bit, but at that point, the kid is dead anyway.
Well, you can't do anything.
What are you going to do? It's prepare for war.
It'll be interesting to see next season, and also to see where it picks up in 2 years.
Yeah. You keep saying that, but let's not throw that into the universe.
Well, that's what's out there, so I hope not.
Yeah.
But hopefully, at least we get the Jon Snow show, or even the Dorne show. They say that might
something,
happen.
Dude.
Give us something.
Give me something. And
that was pretty much how it ended.
Yeah, so it got my attention, and I am fucking sucked in, and I hope you guys are too. And
so
we're
overall,
going to
good series, good
so far,
good season 1,
so fucking good, on theme, right?
Seems
Tragic
more
ending.
Accurate, if anything. Like, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I'm very happy with this season. I just hope that they ended well.
Yeah,
the whole story. And we'll hope for the best. So far, I am definitely in. We hope that you guys are too. Just know that moving forward, while there's no series going on, we're going to try to get creative. I don't know if we'll do it weekly. We'll probably, we'll figure something out. But we're definitely going to try to come out with content. We have some ideas of maybe some...
we'll go ahead and start releasing some conspiracy theories. There's some certain theories that...
character dives.
Yeah,
like really talk about Daemon, maybe Rhaenyra, Alicent, all of these characters that we're learning
deep
about.
Dive into the dragons and things like that.
Yes, maybe we'll do an episode on only the dragons and without. We're definitely gonna try not to spoil what we know.
Yeah, we might have some spoiler episodes, but we'll make sure to notate that. But yeah, we'll keep on releasing content, so stay listening. And if you guys have any suggestions or anything, feel free to email us at drinkofthrones@gmail.com or comment down below in our YouTube or our Spotify or IG. Go ahead and let us know, and we'll go ahead and research and bring something forth.
Yep.
So thanks everyone for a good season. Until next time. Oh, and I did accidentally pour us another
huh? A
shot.
typical tradition. All right, here we go.
All right, everyone. Have a good one now for real.
Like, subscribe.